Okay.
Oh, hopefully it'll be worth.
And here. God bless you.
Thank you.
And I don't trust. I have my class.
Mhm.
No, I don't. I just don't. There's stuff in the garden. That's not like you are.
Right.
He's from Kenya. Whatever. They're kind of really. Yeah. I'm gonna call you. So now I don't. There's one that I saw. Do you remember? Why? I'm talking about it's my yeah, I'm 23. Yeah, actually, I've been losing very good. So, everybody, so everywhere goes there. What they do and you want okay. There and
Yeah, if I'm going up there, and it's like. There's no bad seats. Yeah.
All right,
It's
we are, you guys, we are so blessed by our new music director and the skills that he brings. Dude, you are just, I mean, people come to the church like, I didn't know our organ could do that. And anyway, and so Ron is going to help educate us today and give us some more information on some of this incredibly powerful music that we share together. And with that, Dr. Baltimore, it's all yours. So thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for attending. Let's play Name That Tune. If I'm going to play something.
Happy birthday.
All right, let's see if you know it. Give you another one.
One for one. I've got, that's not what I've got.
Okay. Something, what is that? Do you got keys like?
I've got-
Good, good, good. Good. All right, let's try another one.
They know that they're in the choir.
Good, good, good. Stop it. That's. All right. Way back in 1981, there was a hymnal set called Lift Every Voice and Sing. This was the original. Unfortunately, in my opinion, they never really took off in the greater church. The black parishes had this, the white parishes, not so much, not so much. There's a big difference between Lift Every Voice and Sing and Lift Every Voice and Sing 2. No, and I'll explain what I mean. In Lift Every Voice and Sing 1, it was a collection done back in 1981. It was a supplement to the 1940 hymnal. How many of us grew up on 1940 hymnal? A lot of us did. A lot of us did. And basically, it was just a collection of songs. That's really what it was. It was just a collection. Now, here we have Lift Every Voice and Sing 2, which majority of Episcopal churches have, because it was a big push for it to be inclusive. This was made in 1993 as a companion to the 1982 hymnal. There's a big difference.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Why does it have that title and what does that represent?
Good question. Here's Lift Every Voice and Sing 1,
Yeah.
the original. Here's Lift Every Voice and Sing 2.
Yes.
This is like the second.
But lift every voice, like explain lift every voice and sing.
Okay.
I
And I'm glad you brought that up. All right. Lift Every Voice and Sing is considered it was actually called the Negro National, the Johnson brothers, James Weldon Johnson, J. Rosamond Johnson came up with this. It was really in commemoration of Abraham Lincoln, if I remember correctly. And the story was the two brothers were like inspired to write this song in celebration of Abraham Lincoln freeing the slaves. So Lift Every Voice and Sing just came from it. And it's something that as African Americans, we've sung this like ever since it like started. And with this hymnal, it's in tribute to that. So both Lift Every Voice and Sing 1 and Lift Every Voice and Sing 2, it's in tribute to it. It's in tribute to the African-American experience in the Episcopal Church, African-American experience in America. I mean, how do you want to say it? That's what it is. Now, with Lift Every Voice and Sing 2, Lift Every Voice and Sing 2 is really considered a hymnal. Lift Every Voice and Sing is just a collection. There's a big difference between the two. And in a number of Black churches, they will primarily use this hymnal. They'll use the 82 hymnal, they'll use Wonder, Love, and Praise too, but this is primary. This is like first and foremost for them because it speaks to their experience. All right. Let me go back to 1940 hymnal. This is something that a lot of us grew up on. There are only, to my knowledge, 2 hymns that represent the African-American tradition. 2. Which 2? The 2, I will tell you what the 2 are. I'm glad you asked.
Pique my curiosity.
All right. And by the way, the 2 hymns made it into the 1982 hymnal. They did. All right, the first one is, I'll play it. All right. In the 1940 hymnal, it is recognized as a Negro melody. That's what it was called. So again, this is historical. The second hymn is, you might know this. In Christ there is no self. Right. This is the alternative tune by Harry Thacker Burley. Oh, it made it over into the 1982 hymnal. If you don't know who Harry Thacker Burley was, instrumental. Big time with the Episcopal Church, big time composer, influential to Antonin Dvorak, New World Symphony. If you know that, you're listening to Dvorak and Burley. They're like talking to each other. On Martin Luther King Sunday, we sang one of Burley's spirituals, My Lord, What a Morning. Burley was huge composer, like one of the first big composers of the African American spirituals. Huge. But like I said, in the 1940 hymnal, those were the only 2 that made it. Only 2 that are represented. So again, it shows you where we come from the 1942 hymnal to what we have in 1982. 1982 is much more inclusive. David Hurd, who was longtime faculty member at General Theological Seminary, was on the committee, who is the organist at St. Mary the Virgin in New York City, was on the committee. Horace Boyer, noted lecturer, was on the committee as well, and also on the committee for Lift Every Voice and Sing 2 as well. Much more inclusive. Much more, I mean, you can just go through pages and you'll see, we got more spirituals. We got more of this, we got more of that. It's like, yeah, because that was the purpose of the 82 hymnals, to become more inclusive with the hymnody. And as well as with Lift Every Voice and Sing, it's more inclusive as well too. But meanwhile, let's do a little bit of singing at least. Do we have enough of those to go there? Yeah, but see, now it's gonna mess up. Right.
Let me try putting it on the side.
Okay.
Excellent, thank you.
Oh, okay, that's it.
Perfect.
But you want that sound?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
Now, if you notice, during this whole month, all our hymns are coming from the Voice and Sing, purposefully. We're doing this on purpose. On purpose. Because we're trying to reflect upon the African American tradition in the Episcopal Church. And it's a rich hymnal. Rich hymnal. I mean, there are a lot of things in here that you wouldn't expect to see in a hymnal. It's like, it's here. It's here.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah,
Is this hymnal only for the Episcopal church or is it for multi-church?
it's mainly for the Episcopal Church because it was commissioned by the Episcopal Church.
Oh.
I've seen other denominations use it. And you'll sort of find the same thing with, okay, for example, in the Methodist Church, Songs of Zion, in the 80s, and then much later on, Zion Still Sing, which was like a follow-up of it. Lately in, oh gosh, the last 20 or so years, there have been like a proliferation of African American hymnals, just like all over the place, cross-denominational. I mean, they just go everywhere, like Lutherans, Baptists, Presbyterians, you name it. It's just like you're just fitting them like all over the place. It's like where they were 20 years ago, but it's like, okay, we got it. That's good. Not gonna complain. It's like, this is good, this is good, this is good. Meanwhile, since you got the hymnals out, let's do a little bit of singing. Turn to 37. Because we did this in earlier, actually. And it shows itself back up again, too. 37. Good, 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 good. Let me see if I can find another one. Go to 106. 106. One oh six. All right. Now, I'm going to play a hymn before I go into this one because I'm going to try to make a story behind it. Michael Martini, you brought up a name, William Farley Smith, who I knew quite well. Dr. Smith sort of made a plausible argument the hymn, Precious Lord, Take My Hand. I'm going to show you something. Now, some of us might know that hymn. Must Jesus bear the cross alone and all the world go free. No, there's a cross for everyone and there's a cross for me. That's a Watts hymn. I said Watts. Now, the argument that William Farley Smith came up with, he thinks, and it's plausible, he thinks that Precious Lord came from Must Jesus bear the cross alone. Now, we're going to sing Precious Lord. And I want you to think about what I just said about Must Jesus bear the cross alone. No. Yes.
Amazing. I tell you why, I'm from Nigeria, and I grew up in Nigeria. They fought and this is a song everybody in my generation knew, but we didn't associate it much. It's a guy called the Youth that popularized this in Nigeria, who is called it. If I go home, I still will find it in my collection. And in those days, we are allowed to buy music from anywhere else, and that was the British colony. We exported music to Nigeria. And if you went to China, where communists, you will never come back. Not to talk of going to Russia. So, it's been bad of memory. I said,
Good tune is good tune.
He brought up an excellent point, music and memory.
Yeah.
I'll play something for you, you might know this.
It's cool.
Still, because we used to sign it for the kids when I was a kid. Jesus loves me. And like my parents just wanted to do it. 20 years.
It's whole idea of muscle memory.
Yeah.
You know, you hear something, if you move to a piece of music and you're moving your throat, it's like it's locked in some other part of your brain that still can't remember what you had for breakfast. But
I do a lot of shape note singing, and I have some friends who are hearing impaired,
who come because they can feel the vibrations of it because it's so loud, but they will sign words while we're singing, which is very powerful.
It's like, I'm right here later. It's like, you know more than I do. I mean, this is wonderful. This is what music is all about. This is what it's all about. Gee, what else do I want to do? Do you have any questions, any comments?
You were about to tell us where Take My Hand came from.
Oh, okay. Now, according to Robert Thomas Dorsey, this came from really a bad period in his life. Unfortunately, his wife died. Days later, his newborn infant child died. So it's like you got two things happening at once. And in his sorrow, he penned this song, Precious Lord, take my hand, leave me on, let me stand. It's a pining. It's a cry, it's a wail. That's where it came from. It came from his sorrow. And this song has gone like worldwide. Worldwide. One thing I sort of joke with the choir is it takes just one song. One song, you can make it big with just one song. You write the right one, it's like, that's it. That's it for life. You know, that's it.
Yeah, to me, it's the morning, and in the Beatitudes, it says, blessed are those who mourn. And that is the feeling of mourning opens our hearts to vulnerability and receptivity to go deeper into the kingdom of heaven. Right? And so when I'm hearing the song of the children, I feel that mourning in my heart. And it's kind of loving that mourning, it pulls me deeper into the kingdom. That's just my thoughts about it.
Those who you were mourning are their own pieces. They're drawing you in them. Those whom you are mourning are there in heaven, so they are drawing you.
Yes. Yes, it's the mourning of loss. Like he lost his wife and he lost his precious child. But that mourning in that suffering, for me, brings me deeper into relationship with God.
Makes sense. It's perfect sense. Perfect sense. Perfect sense. One thing you must realize with African Americans and European Americans intersected each other. And if you look at like the hymns of Isaac Watts, Charles Wesley, John Wesley, and the like, we intersect, we connect with each other because those hymns cut across denomination lines, they cut across racial lines, they cut across cultural lines, and we know those hymns. Like Black folks know the hymns of white counterparts, but is it always the reverse? Whites know the hymns of Black counterparts, not necessarily. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. It means, again, this is why we have this, because we're trying to different segments altogether. So again, this is part of like why in February we're doing stuff from the hymnal. We're doing it on purpose. It's on purpose. It's a cultural thing. We're trying to expand our hymnody. Nothing wrong with the 1982 hymnal. I grew up with 1940. And I thought it was like one of the best hymnals ever written, because like I realized, oh, wow, I really learned a lot of stuff compared to 1982, because 1982, there's much more stuff. There's much more stuff. I mean, in some ways, I'm sort of mad with 1982 hymnal because they took away some of the, what I consider the good hymns from 1940. Okay, for example, a while back, I made us sing a hymn from the 1940 hymnal. See, that's what we told her. Boy, the 1982 hymnal was used. They use a different, but it's not the familiarity of the old. So again, it sort of threw away some of the old things that we just do. And it's like a replacement with something good, which again, I get why, I get its idea, but at the same time, though, it's like. And by the way, the 1940 hymnal has never been decommissioned. It's still, we can still use it. Once a hymnal's commissioned, it stays that way. We don't use it anymore because it's not really circulated as such, but still, so there are still churches, by the way, that have never gone to the 1982 hymnal.
Pretty sad.
They will stick with 1940 all the way. They will stick with it.
And the 28 prayer book and.
Yeah,
It's because
Yeah.
they're notoriously good at things for change or lack thereof.
any questions, any comments, any concerns, any?
No, we just had
Nope.
Question.
Yeah,
Do you think that there's ever gonna be a point where the different voice thing will be merged into?
that's a good question. I don't know. The other denominations have done this, like, okay, I come from the United Methodist tradition. You'll find
Yeah.
the hymn with their voice thing in the main hymn.
Yeah, I also.
You'll find it, it's there.
Most of those,
Mhm.
they not even think about them, that's why the tunes, because.
Even though in the 82 hymnal, it is there. It's there. Not-
American Methodism was much more integrated than Anglicanism.
Right away.
The liturgical commission on music and liturgy, or something, not quite how, the Episcopal Church, we're continuing to struggle with how we are updating all of our liturgical materials. Book of Common and hymnal to reflect our better understanding of diversity, in the book language that's being addressed. But one of the things that is fairly clear is the idea of printing a book is getting less and less, it used to be geared like, oh, you read a book, but now think about all more and more often things will be approved for things, we used popular songs here before and things like that, so there is no limit. If you look at.